Hi, everyone. We are now day 21 of our 21-day commitment for entering 2021 in the best physical and mental frame of mind we can. So we've started that path. Thank you for joining me. If you missed any of the 21 classes, there have been other ones that have also been posted, lots of meditations posted. And because we will remain in lockdown and because I'm enjoying this and there's been really great feedback, I plan to continue to grow this channel. I'm not sure if it will be daily. We shall see how that goes. I have so many ideas, so many different series with breathing, meditation, heart, energy, stretching, strength, vinyasa, YIN, which by the way is today. And I want to bring those. So we shall see how this continues to unfold. So without any further ado, we will practice YIN today. It will be about 30 to 45 minutes and with the intention of resting in our heart. So a lot of chest openers for physical opening of the fascia in the area of the chest and around the rib cage. And energetically in the area of our heart, we have set the intention to start this year in the best way we can, practicing yoga, which means yoking or uniting with ourself. And how can we do that unless we rest in our heart? So I invite you for this practice to rest in the energy of your heart and trust that this practice is giving you everything that you need. And I will end the practice with a beautiful poetry. It's like a meditation, but really I'll be reading it to you while you are in shavasana. So thank you. Thank you again. Please feel free to leave any comments below, anything you'd like to see. I have been really giving a whole smattering of things for the last 21 days, and then I intend to make playlists so you can go and find exactly what you're looking for. Namaste. So I will have you begin in child's pose. You might want to bring your knees apart. You could bring them closer together. And if you have a bolster or something similar to this, I invite you to place it in front of you. Alternately, you can use 2 blocks instead. So remember, when we practice yin, we want to take some time getting into the pose so that we can be relatively comfortable, but slightly uncomfortable, so that we know that the practice is working on the tissue, but never in pain. And so you take some time to find your edge, and remember your edge is about 50% of your maximum, because we're going to be staying in each pose for approximately 5 minutes. And at first 2 minutes, you might feel nothing, and then you start to feel something, and that's when the practice is working. So take some time and get into balasana, child's pose, taking your bolster in front of you, placing your elbows on top. Begin to draw your palms in prayer shape towards your spine. You can rest your forehead on your bolster. You can always use blocks underneath your elbows instead. When we're practicing yin, there's no particular breath work. Treating each posture like a meditation. The respirations simply move in and out of the body. And you can be the watcher of it all. You're not here to change anything, although change may happen. You're not here to fix anything. You're simply here. It's refreshing not to have to do, to simply be. As you make your way out of your pose, always move out of our transitions and through our transitions very mindfully and slowly. And you'll feel sort of the reverberations of the pose, the rebounding effects as you slowly make your way out. We're transitioning into Sphinx pose, pressing your chest up. You can remove your bolsters. Begin to bring your bellies down on the ground. Maybe even putting a blanket underneath the front of your hips. As we come into Sphinx pose, have you draw your elbows underneath your shoulders. Spread your fingers wide and take your feet out to about the width of the mat. So notice I'm not dropping down in between my shoulder blades. I'm just gently pressing my hand to the mat, pulling the heart, easing it forward. So there's an idea of the back of the heart and pressing forward and up. And you can always keep a little bit of tension here in the glutes, especially if your back is aggravated. And alternatively, if coming into the full variation of Sphinx is challenging, you can lower by drawing the elbows back and maybe placing a block or your bolster underneath your head. You'll still receive the benefits of that safe compression in your back and also that opening in the area of the chest. Inviting you to close your eyes. And as we rest here in the energy of our heart space, energetically, our heart space, we refer to this as Anahata. And Anahata means unstruck, meaning there's nothing that it can strike because it has no boundaries. And as we rest in the space, being aware of what it is you're opening to. Are you opening to possibility? Continuing to open to whatever change comes your way. Open to growth. Choosing to be open to life, which can be challenging right now, especially in the days that we're in. I find it helpful to trust in the unfolding of the universal. The bigger scheme of things. Check in to see if your mind has wandered off. And bring it back to the beauty of this moment. And what sensations are being experienced? Can you watch them with a neutral mind? Surrender your body to the draw of gravity, holding on to nothing. Simply remaining open. And when those sensations stop reverberating, it may take a minute or so. I invite you to make your way into vajrasana, diamond pose, into a bit of a kneeling position. So as you make your way into vajrasana, the big toes will be close but not touching. I'm going to nestle my sitting bones down in between my heels. Palms will rest on the thighs. You can always use a block to sit on, especially if there's too much compression between your thighs and your calves, or the ankles cannot bear this weight right now. You can always sit a little bit higher. And as we come into Vajrasana, Vajrasana is very much a pose that is connected to the more subtle energy of our heart. And there's also a connection with our mind. That's why this posture is often used as a meditative pose. We still would like to keep alignment of the ears, the shoulders, and the hips. And then invite you to turn your gaze inward. Palms may even rest up. The respirations will naturally happen. Choosing to be open to receive. It's not unusual to receive messages or clarity of thought. This posture is referred to as diamond pose because of its significance in clearing out the debris of the mind, allowing it to be crystal clear, like a diamond. You're not in conflict with yourself. If your body is vocalizing quite loudly through its sensations, you're not here to force, you're here to watch. And in that watching, if you truly listen in, whether or not those sensations are solid or fluctuating, if you look really deeply, you'll notice that none of the sensations are solid. always slightly shifting and changing. This practice has a way of revealing how our mind works, how it skips around. As you watch it, you'll become quite aware of this. And the more aware you are of it moving around and jumping, the less it begins to jump and move around. Simply by watching. Inhale. Exhale, begin to slowly release from the pose. Bring the hands forward. Peel the thighs away from the calves. I invite you to move your knees back slightly. And just going to invite that energy to just move around, moving it through your spine with some intentional movements here. Intentional but organic. So maybe for you it means to move through some wave-like cow and cats. Maybe it's a little shifting side to side. I invite you to come onto your bellies just for a moment. Coming into a bit of a belly shavasana. Bring your arms alongside your bodies. And you can rest your forehead or rest a cheek. Let your toes flop in and your heels flop out. Letting the blood flow through those areas in your body that were compressed. Continue softening to the shape. Bowing the heart close to the earth here. Inviting you to come over onto your backs. And if you don't have blocks or a bolster, you can grab a pillow from your bed or from your sofa. That's the beauty of practicing at home. I'm going to place one block across the width of my shoulder blades. And I will probably also use one underneath my head. I'll see how the tissue feels once I get down there. So we want the shoulders to open up around the prop that you're using. I'm going to bring my legs into butterfly pose. You may keep yours extended or find a shape that's right for you. And make the last adjustments here. And just being sure that that block isn't favoring one shoulder blade over the other. feeling that heart space physically open, the tissue open, and the heart energetically opening to the cosmos, opening to the universe, opening to possibility, opening to this moment as it is. And checking in with yourself, the sensations. Maybe choosing mindfully to explore another variation of the shape by interlacing your fingers, letting the palms rest on the back of the head, elbows drop open, to experience another physical variation of opening here. Notice how the mind reacts to the ever-changing wave of sensations. There's freedom in recognizing those sensations are never solid. Just as our thoughts aren't solid, space for the growth in the practice comes from this recognition that things aren't as fixed, as solid as our mind often perceives them to be. And that is especially true for this moment that we're living in history. This past year, living with these changes in our lives, our global lives with the pandemic. Oftentimes feeling we have, maybe for the first time in our lives, no control over what is to come. And that can be a scary proposition for people. So recognizing whatever emotions come up with that and holding those emotions with compassion. And also that balance of recognition that whatever is going on right now isn't solid. It too will change. Constant change is truly the only constant.
One more conscious breath in here. Inhale, inflate your lungs. Notice the sensation in the tissue as you do that. Hold for a moment. Now exhale, release. Begin to slowly and skillfully make your way out of your shapes. It's important to move slowly because that tissue has been asked to move into new degrees of openness. And if you move too quickly, sometimes it can respond with a very quick response of gripping, and we don't want that. So maybe transitioning part of the way, and then slowly transitioning over to one side. Remove your props and prepare to settle in for the final shape of shavasana. Extend your feet to the corners of the mat. Take your arms about 45 degrees from the body minimum. If you'd like to take up more space, move into the surrounding space around you. Take a breath in through the nose. Inflate your lungs to capacity. Hold, absorb that prana, life energy, and release. You can let that breath ease out of the mouth. Feel how the body just gave itself away a little bit more to the support of the earth. Feeling that earth meet you here and asking nothing in return. And then inviting you to take a couple of more breaths like that, breaths of awareness, breaths of letting go. And remaining in a deeply relaxed state. Letting go of any remaining tension in the muscles of the feet, the legs, the hips, the hands and the arms, the torso, all in the area of the chest, and upper torso. Relaxing the neck, all the muscles of the face, relax the temples, relax the scalp.
I choose love. So many roads, so many choices, and it seems like I've chosen them all in this short life. Sometimes, many times, I've chosen pain, sometimes immediate, sometimes remembered, always real. I chose to let it sting me like the barbs of a nettle or an old wire fence. I chose to bleed. I chose to let the CD player of my mind run on one track all day, trying to hurt away the hurt. And many times I chose fear. I chose to shrink away from the world cloaked only in thoughts of disapproval, of not being good enough. But today, I have no time for pain. I have no time for fear. Don't get me wrong, it's not because there are not things to hurt about or people who will disapprove, but because I know now that there is always another road, a road which I would much rather walk. So today I choose peace. I choose to not judge the world, the people in it, or the things that happen to me as good or bad, but simply to know that on a far deeper level than I can ever be aware, I am safe, I am held, I am worthy. I choose to honor my body, not only for good food, mindful eating, and exercise, but also to remember that we are sensual beings. I will comfort my eyes by finding something beautiful in each thing I see. I will caress the world with my hands, make love to it with my words, and embrace it with my mind. And throughout this day, I will continue to make life-affirming choices. I choose to dance, to let joy take me over completely, and not worry for one moment about the ones who might see or judge. I choose to breathe. I choose to breathe life in and let it breathe me in. I choose to laugh, loud and long, at the world, but mostly at myself for all the times I've taken life oh so seriously. Most of all, I choose love. I choose to love myself. I choose to let friend and stranger become my love. And when I walk into the world and see discord, I will look harder. I will look for beauty. I will look for peace, and I will find it. And when I meet hatred, I will open my heart so wide and let the sea of my love wash over it till it melts away. And when I see a man, woman, or child in pain, whomever they be, I will use my life's energy to bring what healing I can. And if I cannot heal their pain, I will kneel down and wash their feet. Today is a new day, and I choose love.
Becoming aware once again of the weight of the physical body on the earth. Feel the sensations of the air brushing your skin. Maybe consciously deepening the breath a little bit. Arriving a little more in the body. Begin to invite some movement to the fingers, hands, the wrists, the toes and the ankles, and then keep coming back to this physical realm without leaving any of that openness behind, so uniting the two. Noticing that you can be open and receptive in each passing moment, should you choose. Rolling over onto a side. And joining me in seated. Let's bring our hands to Anjali Mudra, heart center. May this practice open you to possibility,
May this practice open you to receptivity of the unknown. May this practice open you to the truth of your being. Thank you for practicing with me. It is always an honor and a privilege to be on this journey with you. Namaste.